Tourism Minister, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, says that a report published by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development listed Jamaica as one of the countries which stands to suffer the greatest economic fallout, with an estimated decline of 11% of gross domestic product, GDP. To shed more light on the matter, we'll be speaking to Delano Seiveright, Senior Advisor and Strategist to the Minister of Tourism. Hi, morning, Delano.
Morning, team. Morning,
Hi,
Data.
how are you doing?
Morning, Simone.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Delano, I don't know if your heart sank as much as mine did when I saw that report, because that percentage. Talk to me first of all. What is the response coming from tourism on seeing something like that?
I think 2020 is a year of just bad news. I just saw a report on Twitter about a possible case of the bubonic plague in some parts of China or Mongolia. And I said to myself, I don't know what else.
Yeah.
What more bad news we get this year, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, but it certainly is understandable. The fact is, tourism is the backbone of many economies around the world, including many rich countries and of course, many countries throughout the Caribbean. The UNCTAD report essentially said that the losses could rack up from anywhere from 1.2 trillion US dollars to 3.3 trillion US dollars, depending on how long this crisis goes on for. Jamaica too, like many other countries, is also negatively impacted. As you know, you have over 350,000 people connected to tourism in Jamaica, not just within the hotels and the restaurants and the attractions, but also in entertainment, in banking, in manufacturing, in agriculture, in ground transportation, in construction. It's a broad and interconnected sector. And beyond that, 50% of our foreign exchange comes from tourism, and we need to get that back up and running. So we do have challenges, but we are cautiously optimistic about the future, and we're working towards the future.
And what does that future look like, Delano, as we take our time to try and get through this crisis? Yeah, get through the crisis. I mean, I hear that the talk is that we're balancing life with livelihood.
Yes.
There's been a lot of criticism from folks who are saying we ought not to be opened up right now. We're causing the country greater harm than good. How do you, it's not rationalized, but tell me what we're working with as we move to try and restore the sector.
Well, as you know, Minister Bartlett, Minister Tufton, the Health Minister, and of course the Prime Minister, they, along with other members of the Cabinet, have been working very carefully to ensure that the public health interest is balanced with the economic interest. The fact is that you can't have a situation where you have several 100,000 people whose lives are in limbo, and that of their families. They're unable to pay their bills, they're unable to eat as regularly as they want to, they're unable to really get on with life as they should. Whilst at the same time, of course, as I said before, the public health interest, ensuring that Jamaica is secure. And the fact is, the management so far for our public health situation has been very good, even comparatively speaking, when you see what's happening in the US and other countries. The management here has been very good. The coronavirus cases have been fairly well managed, and we have been in a good position from that end. On the economic front, however, the fact is that there will be fallout, and that is guaranteed. What we need to ensure is to mitigate the extent of that fallout by ensuring that we can at least get some people back to work, get some businesses back up and running, and regenerate economic activity in the country. The future is very unclear. The fact is that this crisis is something that it really is unpredictable. In March, you had one situation. In May, you had another situation. Now we're in July. Many people assumed earlier that the summer would have been far better than it is now. But the fact is that this thing is a moving target. So we don't know exactly what the future holds. What we do know is that things will get better, certainly from the tourism front, as we continue to roll out our operational procedures as it relates to our health and safety protocols that are amongst the best in the world. We have a Jam COVID app that everybody wants to get a copy of. And we would just have to be very diligent and very proactive in our approach to managing this crisis. So public health interest, yes, whilst at the same time balancing the economic interest so we can get the country going.
I'm glad you raised health interest, Delano, because I'm thinking that's going to be one of the major things that we're now going to have to promote so people are comfortable coming to Jamaica, that the protocols are in place. How is the training happening for the tourism workers?
Daily, I'm happy to ask that over 20,000 workers, well over 20,000 workers have been trained so far. I think it's one of the fastest and most rigorous training regimes that we have implemented. The Tourism Product Development Company, which is an agency of the Ministry of Tourism, executed that work to ensure that the workers understand everything about COVID-19, the protocols that are required. Of course, we have very strict sanitization procedures in our hotels and our attractions. We have face mask wearing, we have social distancing, the whole works to ensure that we mitigate against any possible spread of COVID-19. And I think we have seen the positive reaction of many visitors so far. Some are uncomfortable with all the procedures, but the fact is that we're trying to make Jamaica safe, not just for us, but also for them. So a number of people have come through Montego Bay, the airport there, have said they are really impressed with the level of activism on the part of the Ministry of Health and other agencies to ensure that they're tested, to ensure that there's follow-up after the testing, to ensure that protocols are maintained, not just at the airport, but throughout their experience on the Resilient Corridor, which runs from Negril Strait to Port Antonio. So that has been good, and I think that's been a big step in the right direction.
Are we also going to examine the upgrade of our health facilities, Delano? Worst case scenario, I think we should be able to say, not just to our own citizens, but to our visitors, that if there is a worst case scenario, that we are able to respond within our own health system, our own hospitals and clinics and centers. Is there a joint MOH tourism plan to get an upgrade done?
Excellent point. As a matter of fact, we have this huge document that outlines our protocols and our guidelines as we continue to open up the sector. And we'll work very closely with the Ministry of Health on that. In addition to that, we're working very closely with a possible global logistics provider who can better assist as it relates to taking care of the health needs of some of our visitors who will come into the island. The fact is we don't want to overwhelm Jamaica's health system with persons from overseas who may have COVID-19. And this is why you have these very rigorous screening procedures at the airports to ensure that some people who have it don't even get here. So when you saw that recent policy initiative on the part of the Prime Minister for Florida, Arizona, Texas, and other states, where there is a problem now with COVID-19, we're going to ensure that those people at least come with, if they come with a negative test. If they are positive, then you can't even board the flight, you can't come to Jamaica. Those are the steps that we're taking because we have to look about our people first, whilst at the same time looking about our visitors. So it's a balancing act, and the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Health, and the entire government has taken a joined-up approach to managing the crisis. And I want to especially thank the JHD, Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, and all our tourism interests, the Jamaica Tourist Board, all our agencies that have been really very proactive in handling this crisis.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more, Delano, about what you said about these new protocols. I've seen some posts in the social media space with tourists going to other countries or the islands bemoaning the stringent measures there. And if I have to wear a mask, you're going to lose my tourism dollars. And, a sense of entitlement that a lot of folks have, that they think they can travel whether they have COVID or no. And there will be no protocols in place. We've established some new ones now. We spoke about the CMO this morning, talking about folks coming from some of the hotspots, the expats and so on, being tested. And we have some protocols in place with regard to tourists. Do you or have you sensed any fallout in the interest or gauged any fallout in the interest from the tourism end because of, really?
Yeah. Yes, Simone, because you see, Simone, there are people have been in lockdown for months, and there are some people just want to get out of the US or get out of the UK and head to the Caribbean, head to Jamaica, go on the beach, and they don't want to be bothered. So some of those people have been complaining that, boy, these protocols are way too stringent, and I'm not sure I'm going to have fun. And you know what? That's fine for us, Simone, because we have to look about our people's interests first and foremost. And it's unfortunate, but for the most part, a lot of the visitors who have been booking, they fully understand what we're doing, and many of them are actually they feel safe. They feel that Jamaica has its act together. In the US, they leave the airports, there's no screening, nobody asks any questions, but here in Jamaica, there's a whole screening process. You have to apply before even being granted approval into flying into the island. And that is now helping Jamaica certainly out there in terms of the visitor who is a lot more health conscious, who is a lot more wellness conscious, and who wants to ensure that they are having a safe vacation, albeit the inconveniences of having PCR tests and all that kind of stuff. So it is what it is.
What about the local tourism market, Delano? Vacationing at home. There are a lot of Jamaicans who normally would travel during the summer that are now here. Are there hopes or plans that maybe us locals can help to
Of
buffer?
course,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
of course.
it may not
I
be
tell you,
all the money you need, but it's some. Is
but it's
there a
up.
plan to reach out to Jamaicans to say,
Yes.
come vacation?
Yes, the Jamaica Tourist Board is actually putting together and is basically rolling out a staycation initiative, which I think is going to be very successful. As a matter of fact, some hotels that are open so far have had high numbers of Jamaicans. As a matter of fact, Rio Ocho Rios said to me that last weekend they had 400 Jamaicans on property out of about 700 guests. So
Okay.
Jamaicans actually made up the majority of tourists at one of the biggest hotels on the island. Of course, there's not enough Jamaicans to really, maintain the tourism industry in the long run like that. But certainly, what we're doing is to reach out to Jamaicans so that they can rediscover, they can find out, more about Jamaica, they can learn more about Jamaica. Other people who are here now in Jamaica would be going off to Europe and other countries for
Yep.
vacations,
Yep.
Simone,
Yeah.
Delia, right? Um,
What, sir?
but
You,
nobody's going to Europe right now. I don't think Simone or Adele are going to be going to Europe right now.
I want to
So I
say
am
I want to
suggesting
go
you
to.
go to Montego Bay or you go to Ocho Rios.
That's exactly where I would like to go, and I'm actually looking for somewhere.
or
Delano,
Portland.
or I'm afraid of
Or
Portland. Too
Portland,
much
yes.
lizard. Too much lizard. Delano, we have to go, but thank you
Yes,
very much for stopping in. And
absolutely.
when I hear Harris giving you all of this great, asking these great questions, I can't help but wonder if you need a consultant, because if you go through me, then we can have a
But
discussion
Delia,
about you
I'm just
contracting
happy
her.
that Delia playhouses have been open. I
Don't
know
start
the
her,
social distancing, Delia,
sir.
but I don't want to start you up now.
Don't
But
stop
at
me,
least you
Delano.
open, Delia.
Me and Mas Desmond are going to have a long discussion about playhouses opening, and I know he meant well, but
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I
Yeah.
know.
Well, that is another discussion for another time, and maybe we can
Yes,
have,
one step at a time.
yes, Mas Desmond, as you say, on the show to talk to you about that. Thank you, Delano, and
Thank you,
we're,
guys.
we're rooting for Jamaica. Eh? We're all rooting for Jamaica, and we
And we have
wish,
to be optimistic.
yes,
That's all I have to say. Let's
yes,
be optimistic and let's work towards the future. It's going to be tough, but
yeah.
we'll get out of it.
All right, that is the Jamaican spirit, the resilience of our people. That is a thing. Delano Seiveright, Senior Advisor and Strategist to the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett. What is on the other side?
on the other side of the break, job frustration. When is it time to quit? We'll be right back.